Joe 200, how are you? So I delayed this lecture because I know you guys had your CT2 coming in, and today is Tuesday, March 30th. Go Trojans, beat the Bulldogs. That. We just got to get that out of the way. All right. How awesome is it that we are in the Elite Eight? Hopefully, definitely, soon to be Final Four. Okay. So today, I think, arguably, is the most important lecture. Okay, it's in terms of the way you are thinking right now, through why you have gone to college, and this is all about your career, but also more than that, it's all about investing your assets, investing the money that you make so that it grows, so that you can have a very comfortable life. And so we're going to give you a really, really awesome primer on and what you can do in terms of investing. Okay, and specifically, we're going to be looking at investing in retirement accounts and also understanding the Social Security system, and to combine the strategies involved in both of those to really optimize your financial well-being when you retire. But also, we'll discuss, the here and now, and how you can make money. I'm not going to get into the real estate portfolio part of this, but that's a whole different section that, if you're lucky enough and you have resources, it's another avenue for investment. So yeah, so let's just get right into this. So I'm going to go scroll down to, again, this is my page, so it looks a little bit different than yours. This was your C2 paper, and in terms of what we're talking about today, talk to your parents or your grandparents about investment strategies. Right? I kid you not. Find out what's going on. You really should gain an understanding in terms of the culture of your family and investing. Okay, that is my advice to you. All right, so we're going to scroll all the way down here. We've kind of been preparing you for this economic preparation, okay? But now we're going to get into the real nuts and bolts. And the cool thing about this, guys, is I know a lot of you, this is going to be your first job right out of the blocks, is to become a wealth manager, a money manager, a financial planner, and just what we offer up this week will give you the kind of intellectual resources, the knowledge, so that when you go for that first interview, you're going to know what is going on. And I think the person from the firm that might be interviewing you will be like, wow, this person's got it going on. And I kid you not, okay? All right, so this is where the lecture is going to go right here, okay, in terms of financial planning. As I indicate right here, I know a lot of you guys are business majors, and if you're not, we're all business majors, guys, if you haven't figured that out yet, okay? So this is a really, like I said, the wheelhouse, okay? And because not just for the B majors, okay, but for all of you guys, all students, we're seeking to live life well through having financial security during your whole life, okay? Nothing more stressful, okay? No more anxiety than having greater reason for having anxiety than having financial issues, okay? All right, so we're going to give you a little perspective, right? And this, again, this is important just in terms of your knowledge base, right? So I call this kind of some shock and awe statistics, okay? And really the lack of financial security that we're seeing by Americans, okay? And so what we can do is we'll look, as indicated right here, ages 50 to 55 years of age. How well have you prepared, all right? And we see that the median, this means if we gather up, couple million Americans, okay, and we just stack them up from the guy that has nothing saved to the person that is a super saver that has a lot saved, and we just, all right, and we go right in the middle, and we say, okay, my friend in the middle, how much do you have saved for your retirement? And that person right in the middle, in the median, is $8,000. $8,000 at age 55. I don't know if you can even fathom that, okay? We can go up further. Now you're really starting to approach retirement, all right? 55 to 61. Again, the median is just $17,000, all right? It's unconscionable, and so we got to create better programs. That's part of your discussion this week. Is it what do we got to do to improve opportunity for people to save on their own? Because the pension landscape is disappearing. We have this guaranteed income because you happen to work for the government. Okay, and then our entitlement programs like Social Security, they don't cover it. Okay, that's poverty level living. Alrighty. And a lot of people think, well, Social Security is going to cover me. All right, it's adequate. Okay, we saw from last week's discussion that it wasn't. How 2/3 of a person's Social Security income was going towards rent, and they were left with a couple $100 for the remainder of the month, every single month. So when we look, okay, again, it all depends on how many quarters you've paid into the Social Security system and how much you've paid into the Social Security system, and a 2019 statistic. So this was the average, okay, monthly benefit. All right, $1,400 a month for somebody who's retired and now can no longer work. $17,000 a year. It's mind-boggling. All right. And don't forget, as we've discussed, and now as you guys have just figured out on your CT, you're having $17,000 a month when we're looking at a $10,000 annual typical out-of-pocket healthcare expenditure. So I mean, $17,000 a year salary, half of it going to out-of-pocket healthcare. All right, so that's a big deal, and this is why you guys are going to become wealth managers, financial planners. Okay, but the reality is, okay, this is the big deal. If you're a college student, if you like to pick up your phone and mess around with your phone, do Instagram, okay, get in there and do different apps that have fun, play video games, then you can be your own money manager. All right, you just open up your own Fidelity account, Vanguard account. These are investment groups, and you are able to go in there and invest in mutual funds. Okay, and these are huge bundles of stocks. We hear it on TV. I know you guys don't watch TV, but also they call mutual funds also index funds. So one index you hear about is the S&P 500, NASDAQ. Okay, these are all bundled aggregate of stocks, thousands and thousands of companies that are in tech. Okay, that are in some type of manufacturing, whatever it is. So you just can go into your account and choose these, all right? And you can assign your risk, okay? I don't see myself retiring for 30 years. For right now, I could be a little higher risk, okay? If I lose money, it's no big deal. But if I make money, we're going to go over how much money you can really make because it compounds annually, okay? That's what I want you to do, guys. So you don't need to hire a money manager, you guys. You can do it on your own. You don't need to entrust somebody, and this happens too often, that could potentially screw you out of your money when you can manage your own money. All right. So this is a really, really important take-home message. Okay. And there's nothing to be afraid of, especially now. Learn and play with it when you're just investing small amounts of money of your own money. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get you to start thinking about the different mechanisms, because I just threw out a couple of companies. These are just the largest and easiest of investment websites that you can go into. So Fidelity, Vanguard, something like that. Okay. Talk to your parents about it. Okay. And this is something that by becoming knowledgeable, then you'll be able to also lay out a plan for financial security for your future clients, because some people are always going to be afraid of this stuff. There's nothing to be afraid of, believe me. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into first Social Security planning. Okay. Pretty simple. Work as long as you can. The longer you defer your Social Security payments, you're going to see a lot more money to be had. Okay. We're going to talk about investing, and there are limits. Okay, all these, this whole part right here, the first part, we talk about tax deferred. Okay, so this means we have two strategies. Well, we'll talk about what we do in terms of traditional people that are making good money, like myself. Okay, so I invest a good percentage of my salary into what are called tax deferred investment accounts, and this means that the money can really grow based on the investment strategies that I have, but I defer paying taxes on it until I withdraw it and actually use it. So as you withdraw whatever amount of money you withdraw monthly, let's say when I'm 72 or 75, then I pay taxes on it. Okay. And the importance of doing this tax deferral is that there's a good chance by the time you're 70, 75 years of age, 65 years of age, whatever it is, your expenses are going to be markedly reduced. Okay. And so, even though, let's say I'm making 200 grand a year, so I'm in a higher tax bracket right now. And so my income tax, my state taxes are at a much higher level. So goodbye. That money just goes to the government. Okay. When I'm 68, okay, maybe I'm going to work longer. So I'm going to actually work till I'm 72. That's the plan. So when I'm 73, my expenses will be lower. So I may only spend 120,000. Maybe I'll spend 140,000. Then I'm only going to pay tax on that amount. Okay, so it defers the taxes, and by you compare that, it's like having an annual salary of $120,000 a year. That puts me in a much lower tax bracket percentage-wise. So my percent of my money that would be income, basically that I'm taking my own money out of my retirement account, that percentage is much smaller that I send to the federal government and to the state and local taxes. Okay, so that's the importance of this tax deferred thing. All right. We also we're going to talk about again the different mechanisms. Okay, so the cool thing about 401ks, and you will when you go on your first job interview, you can ask your corporation, do you have a 401k program? Do you have matching funds? Okay, because these are all just ways to really grow the investment that you have. Okay, if you work for a nonprofit or government, then you have these other agencies that are like a 401(b), which is what I invest in. Okay. Let's say you're just a small businessman. Okay. You still should be taking out money, okay, into what's called an IRA or an individual retirement account. Same drill, but you just can't put as much money into it. And that's kind of the tragedy. Hopefully that'll change someday. In terms of this tax deferred status that you'll then access later after your retirement. All right. But still, it's the good news is when you are in your 70s and you're drawing less money out than how much you would be paid, let's say when you're 45 or you're making a lot of money, it's at a much smaller taxable income level. Okay. And then this is the wheelhouse. This is what I want you guys to start doing right here. This is called a Roth individual retirement account. This is designed for you young guys. Okay. What's cool about it is you guys aren't making any money at all right now. All right. So your tax bracket is nothing. So you pay whatever money you put in. Let's say you put $1,000 in this year, okay, but you only made 22. So your tax bracket is like the one percentile or whatever it is. So you pay next to no taxes on that money when you put it in, and then it grows. And then when you access it when you're 70, and that $1,000 is churned into a couple $100,000, maybe more, you don't pay any taxes on it at all when you take it out. All right. So minor amount of pain now, huge benefit later. All right. So this is what I want you guys to think about. All right. Some people are afraid. They shouldn't be. They want more guarantee, and that's what this is. It's an insurance investment. Okay. The problem with these annuities is up front you pay these insurance companies. Why are insurance companies offering annuities? Because they're a business, all right, and they want to make a ton of money. So they have an actuarial table, okay, depending on when you set up this annuity. They will guarantee you a set amount of money every single year, okay, but they're depending on you dying and either taking all that money and not giving it to your heirs, okay, or only giving us a small percentage. Okay, so yeah, annuities are not for everybody. A lot of people don't like it. Okay, alrighty. So that's just my first thought on this. You guys are all tech savvy, right? I know that you have lots and lots of different accounts. All I gotta have to do here is and check it out. See? All right. See, I like to play with my stuff too. All right. If you can play with that stuff, hey, if for example, I can dial up my Uber account right now. Boom. Okay. How about my Pandora account? I know that's kind of so old school. Let's do Spotify. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. Okay. If you can do that, you can do this. Okay. And again, this is you don't need. There's no reason for you to hire a money manager, investment strategist, counselor, etc. You can learn the ropes on your own, and that's the message here. That being said, there's always going to be plenty of people that are going to be afraid of this, so that makes you some type of wealth manager someday down the line, okay? If that's what you want to go to, right? And there's, obviously huge wealth management firms, okay, that are out there. Okay, so how do we start this, okay? The basics, okay? This would be our entitlement programs, the Social Security Administration, okay? It's a safety umbrella, guys, for the less fortunate, all right? But for some people, that's all they have, all right? So if we look at the maximum benefit right now, the maximum benefit is a little over $3,000 a month, okay? That's if you retire at this age of 66.7, which is a quote-unquote full retirement age. You can retire at 62 if you want, but you're going to have a significant loss because actuarial, if you're drawing from the system longer, we're going to give you less money. All right, that's the way it works. Okay, so in the end, if you start your retirement, maximum retirement, you have about a little over $36,000 a year that you can live on. Right, poverty level. All right. Okay, so Social Security system, look, they have their own economists. Okay, and they want you to delay your retirement because they have figured out if you delay, then we're going to give you less money because you know what? We look at the average lifespan and there's a good chance that you might die at 75 or 80, whatever it is. Okay, so they're going to pay it out to you later. So the incentive is to work longer, which which is cool for me because you're going to make more income anyways. Okay, and then you draw your Social Security system. And if you wait till you're 70 years of age, like I'm going to do, okay, then and that's where it maxes out. Okay, then I'm going to be at $37.90 a month. Okay, instead of 3,011 a month. Okay, that's a big chunk of money. All right. So in contrast to the annual income from Social Security of 36,000, I'll be sitting around 45,480. That's a big deal. All right. So that's almost an extra 10 grand a year. It's an extra $9,348 a year if I wait till I'm 70 to start drawing my Social Security. All right. Cool, 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 cool. So right in here, these are here. I can click on this sucker right here. So this is your retirement planner, okay, that you can play around with right here. Okay, so it shows you how much you will multiply your Social Security benefit on a percentile basis for each month past 66 that you retire. Okay, you take it all the way out here, see, and it's a 32% increase in the benefit. Right? Awesome. Okay. All righty. All right. Now that's the good. All right. If you lose your job and you can't find a job and you have to start drawing your Social Security early, all right. So in the case of early retirement, the benefit is reduced by 0.591%, going the opposite direction for every month before that retirement age that I was talking about of 66.7 up to 36 months. Okay. All righty. If you exceed 36 months, okay, then it's gonna up the ante. Okay. All right. So in the end, okay, let's say you start drawing your Social Security at 62, the earliest time that you can. Your benefit's gonna be, see, as I highlighted here, 30% less than would have been if I would have started drawing at 66.7 years of age. And if I wait till I'm 70, my benefit's 30% greater. So that's a huge incentive. All right, that's real money. All right, so just keep, encourage your clients to keep working as long as you can. Okay, So again, we're going into these retirement plans. Okay, right here, I'm talking about right here. This is our defined contribution retirement plans. This is money that I'm going to put in. I define it. I make my own contribution. If you're lucky enough, okay, and you have matching plans by your employer, then this is like outside my salary. If I'm making 200 grand a year, okay, and I contribute 5% of that. All right, so that's a big chunk of change, right? And then USC would match that, okay. But they're only going to match it if I put my 5% in, right? So there's this huge incentive. If I don't put my 5% in, then SC is not going to match that, okay? So and they might match it 2 to 1, all right, or 1 to 1, whatever it is. So that's huge. That is huge. So if you have like I said, 5%. Okay, so what's 5% of 100,000? Okay, so right, that would be what, 5,000, right? That you would put in. Okay, and let's say it's 200. That's 10,000 I put in, and then SC matches that 2 to 1. Okay, all right. So then you start getting into lots and lots and lots of money every year, $30,000 a year, going towards your retirement, and then it compounds. Okay, so that's where you when you're looking for a job, find out if they have a matching 401k, 401a, or 403b. All right. There are limits. Okay, so so you can only go so much, and so look at 2019. I have a table that I've put down here for you guys to look at. Okay, and this is something that again you would use in counseling your parents, your grandparents, but also counseling yourself and your friends and things like that. Or if you become a wealth manager, this is what you consult with in terms of your clients. Okay. So under the age of 50, I'm sorry, my max is $19.50 a month. That can be upped, okay, based on the matching funds from my employer. All right. And I'll show you that in a second. Okay, if I'm over the age of 50, then I can go up. This is an incentivized program. Okay, that the government has after the age of 50. Okay, it's called catch-up funds and allows people that didn't invest to kind of catch up. So this is, and the reason for this again. You don't pay taxes on this stuff when you put it in, and you only pay taxes on it when you spend it. All right. All right, so that's a $6,500 bump, which is huge, okay? All right, after age 50, it's a catch-up fund. All right. Now, like I said, a 401k or 403b, which is in my case, they're very similar mechanisms, okay? And they're codes. Those are tax codes for tax law put out by our federal government, right? So if we now look at look at my funds and my employer's matching funds. Remember, initially I can only put this much in, but if I have an employer that matches it, I can put almost 60 grand in a year and not pay any taxes on it until I spend it. Huge. That is huge. Okay. That's if I'm under 50. All right. If I'm over 50, we got catch up again, my friend. All right. So now, so in addition to, I can put 6,500 on top of that, so I can put in 63,500 per year. Again, not pay any taxes on that. All right. So there's an article down here, the Motley Fool article I'm referring to right here, and it explains these kind of catch-up funds. All right. I'll show you also there is a here it is right here. Okay, so you can click on that and you can check on it. Here's another article right here, a PDF file about your contributions to your individual retirement accounts. Okay, so we have 401k here, IRAs here. All right. All right. And again, you decide how much is going to go in. Don't forget that match. And that's such a huge thing. You know, when you're going, if you're going to go interview with Google, okay, Apple, do you have a matching 401k program? Okay. All righty. Because that's just money. That's extra money beyond your salary. Okay. Okay. So this kind of lays out, again, like I said, these are tax codes. This is the Internal Revenue Service tax codes, 401k, God, that's a typo, 401a, 403b, okay, and so that, yeah, I got to fix that, and I will, okay. There it is, 401A and 403B. Okay. Alrighty. So and it just explains what they are in terms of government, nonprofit. So government plans offer 401As, as do not-for-profit. And these are oftentimes you'll have to do it. And then there's a 401K. And so you can look into this, right? The defined pension plan is something that is disappearing off the face of the map unless you work for Congress. Firemen, policemen, city workers, city employees, city managers, they still have this pension plan that gives them a guaranteed income until they die. All right, we pay for that through all of us through our tax dollars. All right, and the pension plans they vary. Okay, so that's the good. You might get limited spousal and underage child benefit if you die. All right, and the child benefit will disappear after the child is age 18. So that's a big difference between me putting my money into an investment account. My kids get it all, all right, which I plan on doing. All right, that's huge. So I'm putting as much money as I can into my defined contribution plan. If I don't use it up, then that's what my kids inherit. Okay, and there's a whole different kind of inheritance tax basis to that. All right, cool. All right, there's I think an agreement out there in terms of investors, unless you are a money manager that makes a lot of money of rolling money into an IRA. Okay, you should keep your 401ks with your company. All right, they have lots and lots of protection in case somewhere to sue you. Okay, they have lower fees. So read this article and you'll see why. Okay. Alrighty, so this is a cheat sheet that I devised by going into these different types of annual limits right here. And this is just your individual amount that you can put in. It doesn't consider the match that I was talking about earlier, okay? So we see the 401k, the IRA, 403b is exactly the same as the 401k. And we see that if I am less than 50 years of age, okay, then 1950. If I'm over 50 years of age, that's $26,000 a year. See, there's a $6,500 catch up right here. You don't get that kind of catch up, sadly, if you're a small businessman and you have your own individual retirement account. You only have, after 50 years of age, you only have $1,000 catch up. That sucks, okay? For your Roth, that's what you guys would do. You have an annual limit that you can put in and not have to pay taxes on the gains, okay? And the whole point is you're going to make gains, okay? And you don't pay taxes on these gains, okay? That limit right here is against $6,000. Remember the IRA, you're paying taxes on it when you put it in, and then any gains you make, tax-free. It's a beautiful thing, okay? It protects you, all right? All right, and then again, this is the concept of the annuity. It's an insurance investment, okay? There are lots and lots of fees going in, so it costs you a lot going in, and there are lots and lots of limits and recommendations, okay? So these are just a couple of articles that you can look at that describes this concept of annuities. I encourage you to check them out, okay? All righty. Let's say you have a lot of money, okay? And then you can do a brokerage account, okay? And with a brokerage account, the sky's the limit, all right? The only difference is that you enter into a different tax bracket where you pay what's called capital gains taxes, okay? Oftentimes when you invest in a large bundle of stocks or an individual stock, okay, there are dividends, okay? Dividends are like profit sharing, where a company will say, you know what, we're having a good year, our stock prices have gone up, our profits have gone up, so we're going to just throw a couple grand at you this year, you know, to celebrate, okay? So fine, you pay capital gains on that couple grand. It is what it is, okay? And the other thing that happens, if there's gains as let's say you're selling individual stocks, which, you know, it's like, if you want to try that, you can. It's hard to predict anything. But even if you sell bundles of stocks, your mutual funds, and you have a gain, then you pay at that moment capital gains on that, but it's still in the end well worth it. All right, cool. So this is just kind of, and I encourage you guys to invest. Now this is a really cool website, guys, and I'm going to show you why it's important to invest. Okay, so you click right here, and this is the hyperlink. This is what it looks like right here. Okay, so we're going to just do a real quick calculator and show you how quickly you can make money. All right. All right, cool. All right, so and I'm gonna change that link too. I hate it when it does that shit. All right, all right. So now so here we are. All right. So you're 25 years of age. All right, and let's just say I don't have any money to really put in right now. So I'm just gonna start with nothing. But I promise you that I'm gonna go to Starbucks a little bit less often, a little bit less beer. Okay, and I'm going to put in $100 a month into my Roth IRA. Okay, all right, very cool. And so we'll put it at the beginning of the month, and we're going to do it every month, $100. $100 is nothing, right? You're going to be savvy in your investments, so I think a 6% return sucks. You can get an 8% return, all right? Now you're going to look the other way, right? All right, so you're 20. Let's say we just put it in for 30 years. I want to see how well we're going to do. All right. Okay. All right. So that's the strategy that you've had, and let's just see what happens if you put $100 away and how much money you're going to make at the end of 30 years. $100 a month. Okay. $100 a month. Okay. At the end of 30 years, you see you've made almost $142,000. Okay, and we can break this down. This is the actual amount of money you've put in at $100 a month. Okay, we can see. So this is the graphical. We can see it numerically down here. So here's your actual principal. So $100 a month. Okay, all right, if we think about, okay, how much you're putting in every year. So then at the end of 1 year, the actual principal, $100 a month, that's 12 months. Now it's $1,300, another $100 a month. So at the end of a year, 25. So this is the actual principal that you've been putting in so by the end, you've put in your own money, just short of $35,000 over 30 years. All right, that's pretty cool. All right. This is the interest that you're going to make, and that interest is going to go right back into the balance. So you see here, 5137. This is the amount of money you put in the end of the second year. It's 3151. Wow, not bad. Okay. Now at the end of the second year, we're going to put 151 in on top of this. You see, it's starting to grow. This is called compound interest. Okay, and you can see the balance is growing and growing and growing. Okay, so in the end, okay, the amount of money that you have put in, okay, was $36,000 right here, okay, you've made this much money, okay, so that's not bad, right? 36 going into 140, all right, so you have made almost four-fold increase in your investment. That is pretty awesome. Okay, so we see this again illustrated graphically right here. Okay, this is your total contribution. Okay, this is how much your investment has grown, and this is how much you got from compounding interest. This is just your investments at 8%. Super, super cool. All right. All right. Let's say you're doing a little better than that. All right. Let's say, God, my auntie just gave me a chunk of money. I'm going to put $5,000 in. Okay, this year, just this year. Okay, and I'll put in another. I'll do the $100 a month. Okay, just like the last time. All right, so it's no big deal. This just going to Starbucks a couple times. All right. So before we didn't have anything to put in, but we started it with $5,000. All right. Remember before at the end was 141,760. Let's see how it changed. Just like that. All right. So we put in an extra $5,000. What do we have here? An extra $50,000 at the end of the day. All right, this is why it's super important. All right, you can go on and on. Okay, you know what? I think I can handle $200 a month. All right, sounds like a lot of money. Okay, but you know it'll be easy for you guys. Let's see what happens if you put $200 a month in terms of your investments. Boom. Okay, look at that. All right, so we went from 140 to $330,000 that you can now draw on in your retirement. All right, so this is just a great, fun website. Okay, this is your investment calculator. Okay, right here. You can now do the same thing for a 401k. All right, but the cool thing about here is right here, man. You got an employer match. Watch what happens when you have an employer match. Okay, here you can have an expected salary increase per year. Just a bomb. Just a bomb. All right. Cool, cool, cool. And you can do all these other different types of calculations right in here. Super fun calculator. All right. Okay, guys. So, in fact, guess what? I'm going to use this thing for CT2 next year. All right. All righty. All right. Let's go back. And what we have now here is to look at what happens when you don't pay attention. All right. And I saw this with my mom. Okay. My mom's money manager was churning her account. Okay, had a high rate that he charged her to manage her account, and then she was approaching 90, and he had her in all these individual stocks. He would sell one, and then he would buy another, sell one and buy another. Every time he did it, boom, 2%. Boom, 2%, 1.5%. In the end, her money's not growing because it's all going to him. Okay, and so this is what was happening to this woman and her parents, and it's a really tragic story. Okay, when the broker handling their savings, okay, they didn't keep an eye on it, and they ran the investments into the ground. All right, you can do that on your own. You can run your own investments to the ground. You don't need to pay somebody to do that. All right, so tragic story. So check it out. Okay. I know you need this right here is the PDF file. If you have a New York Times account, you can go right in here. Awesome. So going back to the original premise, guys, we got an issue in this country, right? So we see here looking at the amount of retirement savings, okay, as a function of age group. And we see here this was an article that was done in 2013. Things haven't gotten much better, okay? And you can see here that boom, all right, it plummeted down here. What happened right here? The Great Recession, 2008, okay? Things just plummeted, okay? And we see here that at this age group right here, or this year, how poor the investments are. It's gotten a little bit better. But check this out. Even when things were raging and things were good, the medium for the oldest age group, 56 to 61, was only 35 grand. So the question really for you guys is this: come up with a plan, right, about investing. So read this prompt and come up with a plan. All right, that's what you guys are going to initiate policies to make it easier for you to make money. All right. If you have any questions about this, call me. Okay. Any questions, email me. If you ever envision yourself making a lot of money someday, again, you don't need somebody to manage your accounts. You can do it on your own, right? Let's say you're going to be a dancer, okay, on Broadway. You're going to be the next Beyonce, okay? You're going to be the next Dr. Walsh. You're going to be the Tajidi who goes to the NBA. It makes huge amounts of money. You know what? Have fun with these accounts, these brokerage accounts that I was talking about, Vanguard or Fidelity, like you would with a video game, and watch your money grow. Right? You don't need somebody else to manage, because what happens is if you hand your money to somebody else, you lose track, and you think they have your own best interest, but oftentimes they don't. Okay, and money causes greed, and it is what it is. So yeah, that's my lesson for you guys. All right, well, I've talked too long, but this is a really cool topic. I get all excited about it. And guess what? The person that does all the investing for my family is right over there. All right, my tech expert, and that's Julie. She's amazing. All right, guys. We will see you later. Peace and fight on, Trojans.